whatever. You know what I need? I need a civil rights lawyer. I really need a civil rights lawyer. I wish I could find a civil rights lawyer because my civil rights have been violated. I mean, my civil rights are violated every day, but like this time, big time. You know what I mean? Civil rights definitely was violated. Definitely a civil rights lawyer because, I mean, I never really wanted to say anything because at the end of the day, I really just want my children to get out of the defects or whatever. So it's kind of like if they have to go with their dad, I'd rather the devil I know because that's just the way I was raised. I always rather the devil I know. But, darn, this TV is loud. I'm gonna probably have to re-record this. I may or may not. Then her dog started barking and stuff. Anyway, this person come in soon. I start making this video. Here come this dog barking. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I'm in Hope Harbor or whatever. The women's shelter that I had on this video. If you go through my little shorts or whatever, you'll see the video of me getting kicked out of there for no reason. And they said that I got kicked out of there because they had got a tip from somebody that I was. They seen me with my abuser, even though all them females in there was talking to their abuser, but that's not here nor there. Long story short, my son's father was in jail. Like soon as I went and got him, and the sheriff had to come and get the baby from him to bring the baby back to me, because the sheriff initially, when I first went into the shelter and we first had the sheriff come out, I went to the hospital. I'll tell you the whole spiel. I went to the hospital, waited, because I got sent there from another place, from home, a place called Home for Good, who is dirt. Home for Good is dirt. I just wanted to put that out there. So they didn't never want to help me with no apartment. They were supposed to be helping us with hotel rooms or whatever. Supposed to be helping us pay for the hotel room. So, me and my son's father went over there, and they were supposed to be helping you with an apartment, etc., etc. So, yeah, they sent me to the DV shelter. You know what I mean? So I guess after they realized, they asked me questions and I told them the truth because I was over there getting abused because I was getting abused. Whatever. I wasn't getting beat up every day. But shoot, I don't know how many times you got to get beat up in order for you to be saying you got beat up. And I went to the hospital. Eventually, the police came. The police was supposed to escort me back to the hotel to get my things so I could be able to go to the DV shelter. The DV shelter already gave me a fake interview or whatever, and asked me all these questions, etc., etc. I know because I used to work at a DV shelter. There we go again. It's always some kind of stupid ass coincidence. So I asked you these questions, etc., etc. And then, anyway, long story short, the police took me back to the hotel so I can get Junior, and he wouldn't give me back the baby. Even though at this time he was not legitimized at all. And in the state of Georgia, you have to be legitimized as somebody's father in order for you to be their parent. So the sheriff came, which is protocol. If the police can't decide where a child is supposed to go, which parent a child is supposed to go with, they're supposed to call the sheriff. At the time, I didn't even have the baby's birth certificate because it costs $25 to get a birth certificate, even for the first time down here. In New York, you don't got to pay for your first birth certificate. They send you that kind of stuff for free the first time. If you lose it, then you got to pay for it after that. But the first one is always free. Like, only in the state of Georgia, you got to pay for a birth certificate. First of all, you got me paying for my slavery papers, whatever. That's neither here nor there. So, so the sheriff come, and the sheriff made a decision for the baby to stay with my son's father, knowing that he didn't have no ID. I keep pumping this. He didn't have no identification to even prove that he was who he said he was. He could have easily been my boyfriend. He didn't even have to be my child's father. He could have been my boyfriend. How do y'all know this man is who he said he was? Because he said it. You know what I mean? People say a lot of things. People lie every day. So you're going to leave a child with somebody who possibly wasn't even his parent? Anyway. That's the first time my civil rights got violated. I went into the shelter without Junior. Still left, you know what I mean? Because they thought that because I didn't have Junior with me. That I wasn't going to leave, but I knew I was going to get Junior back eventually, so I still left into the shelter because it was just all this control tactics, and I wasn't with it. You know what I mean? So I went into the shelter, and they actually put out a protective order against him, helped me put out a protective order against him, and the sheriff had to respect that. So the sheriff went to go serve him the papers to come to court for the protective order. And in the middle of that, they got the baby back from him. But I didn't know he had a warrant out for his arrest because he had already been to jail previous times before that. But I thought we had already figured all that stuff out. Like, I thought we had, he went, we paid who he was supposed to pay. He went to court. I thought all that stuff was sorted out. I didn't know that he still had warrants out in places for his arrest. Because I thought, as far as I was concerned, he was straight. You know what I mean? So the sheriff go, because I didn't have no intentions on getting him arrested. That wasn't my intention. My intention was to get the baby. Like, I didn't know that he had warrants out for his arrest, even though I believe, me personally, that whenever he don't do what they want him to do, or whenever he failed some kind of whack mission with me, they just automatically put him in jail, I guess, as punishment. That's just me personally. Anyway, so he goes to jail. That night, I didn't know he went to jail because when I got the baby from him, we left. Me, the lady from Hope Harbor, and the other lady, we all left. What's her name? Tamika, something with a T. The director of the program, we all left. So I didn't even know he went to jail, and I didn't speak to him no more after that because I wasn't supposed to. Right? I'm not supposed to talk to them. I actually followed the rules, So I didn't know he was in jail, but I know when they threw me out, their reasoning was that somebody seen me walking around with my lover. Even though the day they threw me out, I didn't even leave the shelter. So I was like, can you run back to the camera? You'll see that I never even left here. Basically, they didn't even care. They just threw me out. But the last thing the lady said to me before I left, when I did, I remember telling y'all a story that when I did have the baby, when I was in there talking to my quote-unquote caseworker, she took my child in the back with her. She was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go back here, and I'll be right back with him. And they sat back there with Junior for maybe I don't know, child. It was a good 10 minutes. I had ended up faking and going to the bathroom in the back. And then the director lady was like, oh, she's going to be right out with him. And I'm just kind of like, what? Why are you with my child for 10 to 15 minutes? And then when I got ready to leave the shelter for good, when they threw me out and I went upstairs to pack my bag, the white lady was like, she was the daycare worker there. Oh, can I just hold him while you go pack your stuff? And I'm like, no, what you doing that for? He coming right upstairs with me, period. So I go upstairs, take him upstairs, pack my stuff, leave. Anyway, so he goes, long story short, the reason why I said my civil rights was violated, now this TV want to just go up extra loud. Hold on, let me wait till they finish doing whatever it says. It's bullshit. Anyway, so he goes into the same shelter that I got through out of. Isn't that some kind of conflict of interest? And I really want to sue them for some type of pain and suffering. Because I really feel like if they would never threw me out of there for no reason. Because if you would check the records, you would have seen that the month I got through out was the month he was in jail. You can see that he was in jail. You understand what I'm saying? So I really feel like I really want to sue them for pain and suffering, but down here in Columbus, the courts don't care that Hope Harbor did me wrong, because the Hope Harbor and the courts down here are all in cahoots, because everybody down here in cahoots. I mean, I'm talking about outside of spooky stuff. Like, this is a consolidated government. Everybody down here is in a good old boys club, and it's just like the government down here is kind of in PA with how they have their Commonwealth government. This government is kind of the same way. Like, they do their own thing. They run by their own rules. They have their own stuff going on, It's like the state of Georgia and then Columbus. Columbus is their own separate entity outside of the state of Georgia. They do what they want to do. So Hope Harbor takes my abuser in and helps him out. And I couldn't even get a bus pass. I didn't even know they was giving out bus passes. Okay? So, that's my thing. So long story short, he already has his stuff together. The boys are in DFACS right now. And he's going to end up getting custody of them. And mind you, while I was in New York, because I got arrested 10 days being down here, after being down here for 10 days. I was only down here for 10 days when I got arrested. Mind you, I got down here April 1st, and I got arrested April 10th. He was telling me that he was already in contact with kind of not DFACS, but The people that help people with their children or whatever, the fathering people, the father people or whatever. People that help fathers, single fathers, etc., or whatever. Because Defects actually helped him get in contact with those people. So the night he called the police, Defects came out there that night. And I'm like, okay, what's she doing out here? You understand what I'm saying? So he was already in contact with Defects before I even got down here from New York. So he was already speaking to her. So that don't sound like a conspiracy to get somebody arrested or a conspiracy to take somebody's child from them or whatever. If you already speaking to somebody prior to them even coming down here. You understand what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden we get into some fake argument. And now all of a sudden I'm going to jail. And the lady that came out there that night to take Junior away actually is fired from Defects now. And a lot of those Defects workers are fired. My sister used to work for Defects, and she worked there for like all of a good year and quit. Because she told me she didn't like it and she couldn't tolerate it. And I wouldn't like it and I couldn't tolerate it neither, because they take people's children from them to put them in worse situations. You know, since my sons have been in Defects, they've been sick every month that they've been in there, or had some other problem going on, or one thing or another. And every time I complain about them being sick, I can't get a visit with them because they try to punish me for complaining. You know what I mean? And then it's just like these people try to put your children in the system, especially poor children. You know what I mean? They really want poor children in the system. And then if not, they want them in daycare. Like, what my child need to be in daycare for? Daycare to people who don't have family members to watch their children while they go to work. Or you know what I mean? Or can't stay at home to watch their own children for whatever reason. I don't believe really in daycare. But they want to make sure they put money in everybody's pocket. Got to make sure daycare is getting paid. Got to make sure the foster parents are getting paid. Got to make sure the government is getting paid. Got to make sure the court system is getting paid so that you can go to court. And got to make sure everybody's getting paid. You understand what I'm saying? Got to make sure everybody's hands is getting rubbed and you're just getting used. So, yeah, I really wish I could get a civil rights attorney, because my civil rights have definitely been violated. The lady who came out there who was dealing with Robert, who was dealing with my baby father, she's been fired. She's been fired because what she did was wrong. They know that the way she went about doing that was wrong, and that's the reason why she was fired. And my sister left, because who wants to be involved with people getting their children snatched from them, really for no good reason? So now all of a sudden he's gonna be the one in charge of the children. He's gonna have custody of the children, and then I gotta go back to court and try to figure out how I can get some kind of joint custody or something like that, which I'm not gonna do for a little while because I'm tired of the court. You know, I'm over it. Like, I don't want to go in there, and I feel like since I've been dealing with these people, it's always been them trying to get me involved with the court, to the police or something like that, some kind of way, form, fashion. I ain't going back in there. Not for some time anyway. I ain't going back in there. I hate the court system. I hate going in front of. I hate a circus. I hate it. I don't like it. I'm not going back in there, at least for, I don't know. You know? So basically, my civil rights was definitely violated. I definitely been conspired against. But I'm conspired against every day. But this situation, I mean, legally, on paper, I can prove, because I still have my text messages and everything from him. He was telling me that he had already been speaking with these Defects people. Definitely been conspired against. It's definitely a conspiracy. Okay, I've been set up and everything like that. You know what I mean? He definitely started the argument with me. He initiated the argument. He the one who called the police. He the one who pushed the issue. And my bail was the same amount of money I had left from income tax. And it's just all about not trying to make sure you don't have no money. You know what I mean? God forbid you at the TI have any money. And when I was in jail, for the little amount of time I was in there, I had met this girl. And she had ended up telling me that she used to prostitute herself. She told me she was actively prostituting herself. And whatever. And she had a boyfriend who was like a veteran. He was in the military. They were staying over there, like where my sister used to live at. But it was his apartment. She moved in with him. or whatever, whatever. She told me she was trying to stop prostituting herself, and she started working at Arby's. And she was so funny. She was super cool. Like, all the girls I met in jail were super cool. But it's just like, yeah, like those kind of girls usually are cool, you know. The girls that are in these messed up situations because of whatever, if you know what I mean. So yeah, they usually aren't arrogant or don't have a lot of airs about themselves. They're not fake or whatever. So yeah, she was in jail. She was telling me, so long story short, she was trying to go to Arby's. She couldn't drive. Don't know why she couldn't drive, because she was born and raised in Georgia. I know why I can't drive like that. I'm from New York. I don't know why she couldn't drive. She's from Georgia, so people that be from Georgia can't drive. I was looking at them like, what was you doing all through your teenage years? You just not driving? Not learning to drive? You ain't hop in nobody's car and just pull off and nothing like that? But anyway, she couldn't drive like that. So her boyfriend wasn't working. So it was his job to keep the children for her while she was at work and drive her to work or whatever, because she helped him get a car for them. So he ain't want to take her to work. And then on some days when she did make it to work, he would get tired of watching the kids, just bring the kids to her job and just leave them there and just go. So she got mad one day and just beat up the car because he didn't want to take her to work. Because why he don't want to take her to work? It was like he had a problem that she didn't want to prostitute herself no more. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm trying, like I was just saying about this prostitution. Everybody that I met in jail was prostituting themselves. That's another reason as to why I kept saying this must be some kind of something. Because I mean, I didn't meet not person in there that wasn't hooking. So she got mad. She was trying to change her life around. He was not trying to be supportive of her, you know. So this comes, long story short, she goes to court. She thinks she's about to get an OR bond, which is not on your own recognizable. I didn't expect this video to be this long. Instead, he comes to court on her and tell the judge this, that, and the third. She's a bad mom. She's this, that, and the third. Da 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 blah blah blah. So long story short, she stayed in there. She acted the fool. She acted out in the courtroom. Then they sat her in there talking about she had to get some kind of mental health evaluation and da 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 da. So she sat for way longer than what she was supposed to, because he came to court. Now I would say, I'll give you one thing. My baby father didn't come to court. He didn't show up. You know what I mean? Because if somebody show up in the court on you, they solidifying that whatever they charge you with is true. So me and the other girl that we was in the cell with, it was like, damn, he came to court. That's OD. Like, that's crazy. He came to court on you. That's crazy. But long story short, he was trying to take this girl's kids from her. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, yeah, that's a conspiracy in itself. Like, what's up with this nowadays? It's just kind of like all these women losing their children to these men, and it's just starting to seem like another agenda. You know, don't know what the agenda it is or why it is, but yeah, it's definitely some kind of agenda. Definitely some kind of agenda. And I think it's because, like, women, I don't know. I didn't want the video to be this long. I'm about to wrap this up.